Hello YouTube, welcome back to another episode of Basic Python Programming Skills. In this tutorial, we're going to break down Leetcode number 9, palindrome number. This one here is extremely straightforward. It is an easy problem, but it touches on very important concepts nonetheless. So the problem goes like this. Given an integer x, return true if x is a palindrome and false otherwise. So palindrome is, its definition is an integer or word that is read the same forwards and backwards. So if we see the example here, we can see that it's giving us input x, number 121, the output is true, and the explanation is because 121 reads as 121 from the left to the right and from the right to the left. Okay, so here it's a very straightforward exercise, but I'm gonna show some basic functions that we're gonna be using to resolve this problem. So first, let's launch our terminal. Let's launch Python 3, our interactive interpreter. And first, the problem says that they are giving us an integer. All right. Now, you know, there's no one-liner that will help you reverse an integer, right? So for example, if you type, let's say you have I equals 1, 2, 3, and then you print I, this is an integer, right? But then if you have a string, right, and you define a string in Python by wrapping your value in double quotes or single quotes, now we print S, you see it's the same number, right? It's the same, it appears to be the same value, but the type is different, right? Let's look at what type returns us. All right, so for example, if we print type I, we will see that it's an integer, right? Now let's print type S, and it's a string, right? And a string has a very helpful method to reverse a string, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to be using this Python shorthand for slicing function, right? So the syntax goes like this. Remember that in our last tutorial we talked about arrays? Well, a string is a form or a flavor of an array. So we're going to open our curly brackets. We're going to leave the start as default, stop as default. And here the key is -1. This will tell Python to reverse the string pretty much, right? So now if we print R is 3, 2, 1, right? Because S was 1, 2, 3. If we reverse it, it's 3, 2, 1, right? So let's go back to our problem. And our problem set is saying, given an integer x, return true if it is a palindrome, otherwise return false. All right. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to convert x to a string, right? So we're going to say x is string. We're going to call the method string, and we're going to pass in x so that it gets converted to a string, right? This function right here allows us to pass in an integer and it will return a string. Obviously, there's other functions for the function string, but you know, you can review those in the internet. Now we're going to reverse this string, right? We're going to say x string, and we're going to use the same syntax that I just showed in the terminal to reverse it. Now we're going to return if x string equals x string reverse. And this is checking if if the string can be read the same from left to right or from right to left. Now let's run our solution. We can see that it's passing all test cases. Now let's submit our solution and see how it compares to all the other solutions in Leetcode. All right, so here we can see that our runtime is 4 milliseconds. It beats about 80% of the other solutions, and memory is about the middle of the pack. It beats 53% of the other solutions. Obviously, there are more optimized solutions out there, but I will explain those more optimized solutions in future videos. All right, folks, thank you very much for your time and attention, and have a good one.